Good afternoon. As you may recall from Friday's video, I had to split this video in two during post. It was just being too long. So in the first part I was talking about how I was feeling under a lot of pressure to get perfect photographic conditions, which is really hard to predict up here, and it's proving difficult to get the perfect conditions for a shot. So instead of worrying about the perfect photograph, I decided to just slow down, take my time and enjoy being outdoors. So I started off by talking about how I was feeling, and then I started to explore along this loch. It wasn't the best day, it was rainy, there were midges everywhere, it was pretty overcast, but it turned out to be a good, quiet, contemplative day for me, and I ended up taking a couple shots. I'm not entirely happy with all of the shots, and I know I want to revisit the location and try something different in the future. And that's another point that I think we need to do as well, is to revisit locations and try and see things a little differently. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, it's going to be a bit slower, a bit more contemplative. So far this morning, two compositions or two subjects have stood out to me. I should say I need to find the compositions for them, and they're two very detailed subjects. One is the rocks along the shoreline. They're all these different shapes and they've been beaten up and eroded over time from the trees. They're a bit more raw than, say, like a pebble at a beach. So that's one. The other one was the broom from earlier, where that big thick cloud of midges was. I really love the textures of all the strands standing up with these little tiny leaves sticking off of it. And I think a very detailed shot of that could work. Oh, the midges are mad. So I'm going to pop on the polarizer to cut glare on the water. Is that because this zoom lens extends, where I'm leaning over the subject, it's falling shut, if you see what I mean, and zooming in, which is not where I want the composition to be. So I sometimes carry a little piece of blue tack which you can attach to the zoom chamber to stop that happening, but I forgot it today, which is very typical. So I'm going to have to hold it. I'll double check on the blue tack. Yeah, I'll double check. Yeah, I don't have any blue tack. So I'm going to have to try and hold the camera while I expose, which is not ideal. So because of that, I'm down to f4 and 1/13 of a second at ISO 100. I'll try that, and then I might have to increase the ISO. Can't see any motion blur. What I will do is pump up the ISO just to be on the safe side, and then that gives me an exposure of 1/60th of a second, which should definitely have no motion blur. Oh. Maybe I'll get a reflection shot as well as I head back that way. I think I'll head for the broom next, but I'm quite happy with that. It's going to be cropped square, and I quite like those three rocks, a little rock formation in the water. Hope you like it. If you remember earlier when I walked past this area, I said, oh, those logs might make a nice composition. Now that's what I've come back to, because I do really like it. There's two logs. They're in one in the lower corner, one in the top corner. I probably won't crop it actually. I was thinking I was going to crop it, but looking at it, I don't think I need to. The midges are all over my camera. And it's quite a nice composition. Got a little bit of the reflection as the wind has died down. There's a reflection below the logs, which really is what drew me in, and you can still see the sand beneath them. So this one is going to be at ISO 100, f11, 0.4 seconds. Just a little 2-second timer, and let's check that out. I might try repositioning though, so bear with me, I'll let you know how it goes. Now, I wasn't really happy with that shot, to be honest. There's too much separation between the two logs, and I've tried finding a different angle with less separation, trying to bring the two objects closer together. Not quite on the same level. I still like that step, but closer together. But any other angle, and I get the reflection of the trees and the land and this mountain around the logs, and that sort of ruins the composition for me. It probably would be actually better if there was a bit of wind just brushing those reflections away, and I could do a longer exposure and get a nice smooth minimalist feel to the image. Yeah, I want the reflections of the logs, but I don't want the reflections of the land, which is quite annoying. So it's not my best, but it's okay. Now I've got the next shot set up, so I'll just reposition you over there and I'll talk you through what I'm doing over there. So this one is going to be that cropped in close look at a broom, just the textures of the fronds, the leaves and the black seed pods coming through. So I'm just manually focusing on the fronds that I want to be the focal point, and then sticking with fairly the same settings. ISO 100 f11, but a 2-second exposure for this one. I quite like how it's turned out, and I'll probably crop it square so you really focus in on the textures of the image. But let me know what you think in the comments. This is a bit of a departure from landscape, it's a bit more of a nature shot, but I quite like it. Balls. That's a nuisance. Forget it. Well, that was very annoying. I was just setting up, getting ready for a long lens, actually reflection of the mountains in the background. It looked really good quite far away. Just as I get the camera on the tripod, the rain starts and the reflections go. So that was quite annoying. And the midges, my god. I'm not sure if I'll wait to see if that reflection... I might wander off and try something else and then come back. If that reflection comes back. We'll have to see. So that was a bit of a disaster. Those hills that I wanted to shoot a minute ago they're just getting kissed by light and it looks really nice. But without the reflections it's such a flat image. There's no point in taking it. I need those reflections to give some sort of foreground to it and to just really liven it up. But it's still a bit drizzly right now. And the midges are still out in force. It's a shame. But a shot for another day. I'm looking at these Scots pines as well, but I'm not really feeling it today. I've had a shot of pine bark before, so I think I'm going to call it here. The reflection has come a bit, so I'm just setting up a bit, getting a couple of shots. It looks quite nice. Oh. Midges are going nuts though. It looks quite nice. A little bit blue sky up above, but it's not too bad. So I've just got this panoramic landscape. I'll probably go to 16:9 to cut out some of that blue and bring in the clouds a bit more. And it's ISO 100 f11, 1/100th of a second. You can see the light is really coming now, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. And I've got this quite a nice composition that I'm quite happy with, of this reflection on the loch. I'm not using any filters for this shot. I'm quite happy with how it's turning out, to be honest. My favourite one so far is a little bit zoomed in, and there is this perfect reflection of the mountain and the farmland that I can see, which just adds a little pop to the picture. If it didn't have that reflection, it would just be so flat it wouldn't be worth taking, but I really like it. For this little bit zoomed in shot, no filters, as I said, ISO 100, f11, and we are at 1/40th of a second, and I think it looks quite nice. I don't think I'm done yet, actually. I think I'm going to wander around a bit more. As I said, patience, taking my time, and trying to find the composition. So I'm going to re-record the sign-off that I did a few minutes ago when I'm actually certain I'm going home. Because it's turning out to be quite a pretty morning. It's 8:30 now, so still got time. Though I'm getting a bit hungry. Yeah, let's keep going. So what I was doing over there, which I'm going to head back to now, is I was trying to create a composition of texture between the reeds and the trees beyond. I'll probably crop it square. I think that's a baby pike I'm looking at in the water. So I'll just head back round to the camera. Sticking to the shallows end. I'm not sure how this one will turn out, but it's interesting, I think. I like it. I'll need to see it on the computer a bit better. But that was my idea, some texture. I said earlier I wanted to do detail and texture. So this was a nice textured shot. Yeah. So yeah, I was looking at these reeds. I wanted to try and get a picture of the reeds. And I've got some pine trees in the background, which I think adds a nice bit of contrast. There's a bit of reflection as well. I might go black and white with it. There's not much colour. It's all very green. It would be better if there was a bit more colour interest in there. So the settings for this one was ISO 100, f11, 1/6 of a second, but I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Looking at the last image, I wasn't very pleased with how it turned out. There was too much texture, too much going on. You couldn't see any definition. It was too chaotic. There was no real subject to the image. It was just a mess. It was just a tangled mess. So I didn't like it very much, to be honest, even after I processed it in post. But it's something that I want to think about. Those reeds, I think, will make a good subject in the future. After I left that location on my way home, there was this wonderful movement of rain across the landscape that was being illuminated by the sun. So I actually stopped off and got 2 images that I'm really happy with and I want to share with you now. They turned out to be fantastic and the best images of that morning, to be honest, and they're actually grand vistas, which is quite ironic considering what I was saying earlier. But I think they're pretty awesome and I hope you agree, so here they are. And I think that this is the end. That's the last image for today. I haven't had breakfast yet, so I wouldn't mind going back and having something to eat, and the midges are going nuts, and I'll probably come back another day and explore more around this loch. But I need to edit this video together for today because I missed yesterday, which was the plan. So this is the news sign off. Thank you very much for sticking around this far. I know it was a bit contemplative at the beginning. I was just working through some of my own thoughts. I hope it didn't bother you too much. And I'm happy with how the day turned out. You know, I got a few images, but more than anything, I just cleared my head a bit and I focused on the photography, which is what I was talking about. You know, I put so much pressure on myself to get better images and what have you that I don't enjoy it sometimes, because I always think, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, instead of what am I doing now? And that's something that I'm trying to work on with this channel. So I hope that you feel inspired to go out and just take a little time in a place that you know. Just relax. Don't worry about getting an image, just enjoy the stroll. And if you see a composition, go for it. That's my advice for today. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to see the next installment, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I do really fancy a hike up into the mountains. It's just been horrible low clouds, and then we've had this storm come in with wind, so one of the upcoming videos will be a hike up in a mountain trying to get some images. That's the plan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.